All right, so Charles do Bronx Oliveira was supposed to fight Rafael Fiziev in Rio de Janeiro. I'm going to be there. I'm calling the event. That was the main event. I couldn't wait for it. What a fight. Rafael Fiziev versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. Of course, he was in action kind of recently when he took on Ilia Topuria, and it was a shocking first-round knockout for Ilia Topuria. He's making kind of a quick return, okay? It's only been a few months. A lot of people were talking shit about it, saying, oh, he shouldn't be coming back this quickly. This is Charles Oliveira. This is what the man is made of. He wants to get back in there. He wants to eradicate the loss. And of course, the man's not getting any younger either. I've done it myself. I was knocked out by Dan Henderson. 3 months later, I took on Dennis Kang and I got a second round stoppage. I did get dropped in the first round though. But anyway, they say about me, it's about Charles Oliveira, right? Is he going to get a replacement? Because a lot of people have been putting their hand up. A lot of people have been saying, I'll fight you. Benoit Saint-Denis said that he would fight him. And then when he was offered the fight, he said, listen, out of respect for Charles Oliveira, I don't want to take this fight on short notice because that would be disrespectful and he would probably lose the fight, okay? So Oliveira's pissed off. Who's he going to fight? We don't know. Right now on Wikipedia, he is off the fight card. I don't have any inside knowledge. I am calling the fight night, but as of right now, I don't know anything official on what's going to happen. There was 11 fights on the card and Charles Oliveira's name is not on there. However, let's have a listen to Charles Oliveira himself and what he had to say. Now, I'm going to read it all out because it's in Portuguese and you don't speak Portuguese. There is subtitles, so we'll read them. He goes, everyone knows my fight in Rio is off, but don't fall for the talk of these guys out there. Oh no. Saying, I'm here, I'll go. Because the UFC is calling and they're all saying, oh wait, there's not enough time to make way. Oh, I can't. They're posting this on the internet to get hype. Stop it. It's not a good look. I saw one saying this, another one saying that. But when the UFC calls, what do they say? Oh, I can't. I got a bellyache. I broke a finger. I hurt my hand. Enough of that. It's not a good look. I wanted to ask. I want to fight at UFC Rio. My opponent got hurt. Then 10 guys show up saying they would fight. So far, every time the UFC calls asking, let's fight, they say, I can't. So stop with that because it's not a good look. You want fame, do something else. Don't come saying that you'll fight when it's a lie, okay? So he's clearly very frustrated, and I get it. It's not his fault. He's obviously been training very hard. He's a Brazilian. He represents his country on the world stage. He's one of the biggest names in all the sport. He's had a hell of a career. He's a former champion. He's got so many records. He's fighting in Rio de Janeiro against Rafael Fiziev, which was a great matchup, a very, very exciting matchup. Fiziev gets injured, okay, undisclosed injury. I don't know what that is right now. And now it looks like the fight's off. So, of course, he's pissed off, right? All that hard work could be for nothing. Of course, there's no problem finding a spot for Charles Oliveira to fight. He truly is a worldwide phenomenon. They can put him on anywhere. Any fight card, next pay-per-view, whatever you want to do it. Everyone's happy to see Charles Oliveira on a card. But you've got to find someone that's going to fight him. So, of course, there was the talk of Benoit Saint-Denis. And, of course, there is also talk of Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot came out and he had this to say. He said, hold on, slide that over there. I respect Charles Oliveira, Charles de Bronx, but I told the UFC straight, I want to face you in your own house. This will be a true masterclass on the ground, and I am ready to prove it. That was in response to that little video that he did. So there's Mateusz Gamrot, and when was that, by the way? Let's just have a look at the date. I'm not on the Twitter, so now we're going to click on the Twitter. Now it's going to bring it up.
A few moments later.
That was 10 hours ago. Sunday. This was Sunday morning. And then Mateusz Gamrot's followed up. I'm glad I clicked on Twitter. It says, I hear you're worried about my style. Even though you've had a full training camp, I've had none. And I'm still ready to step into the cage. 2 weeks left to prepare. And I'm already at American Top Team right here. No excuses. Let's do this. Whoa. This is a mix-up. This is a switch-up of this video in real time. I was talking about Charles Oliveira and how pissed off he is because apparently no one wants to face him. Now, the shoe's on the other foot. It has been completely flipped because Mateusz Gamrot saying, hold on a minute, dickhead. You're the one that won't fight. Because when you look at the fight card right now, As I say, on Wikipedia, it's Davidson Figueiredo, former champion, Brazilian, taking on Montel Jackson, who I believe is on a 6-fight win streak right now. I don't need those headphones in. Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. That's a tremendous fight. Point I'm making is, though, there is no Charles Oliveira. Let me just show you that tweet there that I'm looking at, just so you got it for reference, because that is quite the fighting words, as they say, from Mateusz Gamrot. And it's crazy because I just showed you the video of Charles Oliveira, so we'll wait to see how this one all pans out. I'm sure Charles Oliveira is not worried about the style of Mateusz Gamrot. Charles Oliveira stepped in there against the very best. He's not scared of anyone. Fighters at this level, they aren't scared. The stylistic matchup that he has, the way that he goes forward, the way that he walks people down, the way that he strikes, he's got knockout power, he's got finishing ability in every bloody fibre of his body, okay? And Mateusz Gamrot, given his style, isn't going to knock him out because he's just not that guy. He tends to go forward. He'll use a single leg takedown, head on the outside, which is dangerous against Oliveira for the guillotines, but that's what he does. He takes people down and he's got a really smothering style on the ground. And of course, a tremendous ground game, but it's not the striking that he's known for. And of course, given the last fight that he had against Ilia Topuria, the last thing you want to do is go up against someone with knockout power, which is what he was doing against Fiziev, and that's why I respected him taking that matchup. But this truly is kind of a crazy wrinkle here from Mateusz Gamrot. Now, when you look at the rankings, Mateusz Gamrot probably makes more sense than Rafael Fiziev. Not from a fan-friendly style, but just from a rankings perspective. Fiziev was 10, Mateusz Gamrot is number 8, so on paper, a tougher matchup. But when you look at Mateusz Gamrot, when you look at his record here, he's won 4 out of his last 5. Very, very good fights as well. Hold on, where is it? Hold on, Jalen Turner, Rafael Fiziev, Rafael Dos Anjos, lost to Dan Hooker and then beat Ludovic Klein last time out. Mateusz Gamrot is not an easy fight for anybody. That's just a fact, okay? But this is crazy because Charles Oliveira is talking all that shit, and rightly so. As I said, he's pissed off because he's done a whole training camp. He thought he's going to headline UFC Rio. And more importantly, he gets to eradicate the loss to Ilia Topuria. He gets to maximize on his career. And when you look at Charles Oliveira, the man's 35 years old, okay? So he's not just at the end of his career yet. I mean, let's be honest, the man could fight for another 3-4 years. But he's had a tremendous amount of fights. Look at this. He has had 36 wins, 35 wins, 11 losses. So that is 46 professional fights. That's a lot by anyone's standards, okay? 46 fights. He might want to make it to 50. I wish I'd have made it to 40. I had 39. He's had 46. 4 more fights, he'll be at 50. And Mateusz Gamrot, it makes all the sense in the world. As I say, this was a video about Charles Oliveira kind of being frustrated, and I was going to talk about how I understand that, how I, kind of feel for the guy. I mean, you go out there, you do a full training camp, it's 2 weeks away, and then the fight gets pulled from underneath your feet through no fault of your own, okay? But I can't imagine Charles Oliveira will turn this down. Remember, these are tweets on Sunday from Mateusz Gamrot. I'm sure that when Charles Oliveira gets wind of this, I'm sure the UFC would like to make this matchup. And when we look at the UFC Fight Night card there, I mean, it's a good fight card. It is. Davidson Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson, co-main event. Or it might be the main event, Gabriel Bonfim versus Randy Brown. As I said, that's a really good fight. You got Vicente Luque versus Santiago Ponzinibbio on there. Vitor Petrino's on there. Ricardo Lamas is on there. Who else? Walter Walker versus Mohamed Usman. Johanato Deniz, the big heavyweights, taking on Mario Pinto. Okay, but come on, some good Brazilian talent. But you throw Charles do Bronx Oliveira, top of the card, against Mateusz Gamrot, that would be sensational. So I guess we'll have to wait and see, okay, because this is still a work in progress. Will the UFC go ahead with Davidson Figueiredo? We don't know. When you look at the Wikipedia page right now, that's what they have. I would love it if they made this matchup between Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot. I think I've said that a couple of times now as well. So I guess that's the end of the video. What do you think? How do you think this is going to play out? Who should Charles Oliveira fight next? I mean, when you look at the rankings, where are the rankings? That's not the rankings. Where are the bloody rankings? I had them up here a second ago. There we go. Here we go. When you look at the rankings, obviously Ilia Topuria is the champ. Is that Makhachev number 1? He's not. He's gone to welterweight. Arman Tsarukyan, of course, is he going to fight Topuria? We don't know. Is he going to fight Paddy? Who knows? Max Holloway's there at number 3. That's a pay-per-view fight. They're not going to do Oliveira versus Max Holloway. They do have history. They did fight before. Holloway has a win. Unusual circumstances, but as I said, they would put that on pay-per-view. Justin Gaethje, he's only focused on the belt right now. Wouldn't surprise me if he's the guy that faces Ilia Topuria next. Dan Hooker, of course, makes a lot of sense. Paddy Pimblett, I don't know. That's going to be a blockbuster matchup. There's no way he's going to be headlining a fight night. And then you get Mateusz Gamrot, and Mateusz Gamrot's up for it. Mateusz Gamrot 100% wants to fight. I think that's the fight to make. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Maybe there's other things going on behind the scenes that I'm not aware about. But what do you think about all of this? As I always say at the end of the video, do us a favor, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a like. Helps the algorithm, helps the channel, and helps you view more of me. Okay? Because if we're getting more views, then I'll do more videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring that bell.